Okay, this is the first video in a 6-part series. This is from the cash tournament that we just had here in Orlando, Florida, this past Saturday, February 2014. We're actually having this cash tournament every month, so if you're in the Orlando area, we'd love to have you out here. You can actually check the Spoils Florida Facebook group to find out, when the next tournament is going to be. Last month was the first time we did it, and we actually had people from Vero Beach in Tampa come out. Last month we had 16 people. This past tournament, we had 10 people. So the 6 videos, the 4 rounds of Swiss, and then the semifinals and finals. So it's a cash tournament for. Oh, and you will also see proxies being played. Proxies are allowed in this tournament. It's a way to try to entice new players, to play, by taking away one of the disadvantages, which is, having to try to buy a lot of singles for a lot of decks, early on. Now there is penalties to having a lot of proxies and stuff, for the payout. But there's also singles where they can basically just trade in the money they would win, just get cards they need. So we're still mulliganing. As you notice, mulliganing has taken a little bit. One of the things for new players to understand is that mulliganing and spoils is really very important, because you don't draw a card every turn unless you pay for it. You spend the first 3 or 4 turns typically developing, quite often maybe even longer than that. So you might, your first turn might be to play a resource, then draw a card off that, but after that, you don't draw a lot of cards, so your opening hand is really all of it. You need to make sure it's things that you can use to develop your resources and develop your board. So I actually mulliganed 6, and he mulligans 4. My 6 was not that good, I remember, not because my opening hand was that good. So first play, I go and play Rage. I don't play anything, so I can draw a card. He goes in and plays a Neurosis, and he loses an Influence. Then he plays a Crest of Obsession. The Crest of Obsession, anytime that he plays a card that grants Obsession Threshold, he can search his deck for a tactic and put it on top. Being able to search your deck for anything is very useful. On my turn, I play my own Neurosis. Again, it's a 3-trade deck I'm playing. It's Gearsmith, Warlord, and Arcanist. My opponent's playing 2 trades there. He's playing Banker and Arcanist. So he plays an Obsession, and he triggers the Crest. So he goes searching. My deck is 3-trade, and it tries to be kind of combo-y, which it does okay with, but it's kind of hit or miss sometimes. So he finds himself a Desolate. Desolate costs 3, and you choose a number for X that's less than or equal to the number of Obsession you control, and then you destroy all characters that have X strength. So it destroys your characters as well. So you just want to make sure that's sometimes worth the sacrifice to lose some of your characters, but you want to make sure that you don't lose too many of your own characters that way. Then his turn, he plays the Gilded Yerk, which he can deplete, pick a character he controls, and remove it from the game, and then it comes back into play at the start of the turn. That way you can abuse interplay and leave play triggers with it, and you can also just save guys that might die. And then he also plays an Anxious Imp, which is a new card in Shade. It's a 2/2/3, and if you control 6 Obsession, it has Covert. Oh man, I just thought about it. At late game, there's some misplays that happen, because I actually blocked out non-covert characters. We'll get to that later. We'll talk about those misplays. Anyway, but the other ability it has is that you can also pay 2 to you can pay 2 to make Anxious Imp provide 3 Obsession, and there's no limit to the amount of times you can do that. You can pay 2, pay 2 again, then it's providing 6 Obsession. He uses it to pretty good effect, for a couple other cards it combos nicely with. So he attacks me for 2. I don't have any blockers, so I take 2. I go to 22. Now he plays the Devil Fang. This is one of the cards he comes with. Devil Fang comes into play with number of tokens on it equal to the amount of Obsession you control. He currently controls 6. 2 from the Crest, 2 from the Neurosis, and then he has 2 Obsession. So that comes in with 6 tokens. It gains 1 strength for each token on it, so Devil Fang is actually a 7/4/3. You can also pay and remove a token to make your opponent discard a card. It's very handy. This turn here for me is one of the more questionable turns. I think I misplayed this turn quite a bit because I pay 3 and I play a Micromajig Master, which when it comes into play you can put 2 Micromajigs into play. You can sacrifice 3 Micromajigs to search your deck for a card. And then I go and pay 3 and I play another Micromajig Master, so I have a total of 4 Micromajigs. Now I knew and I remember that he had a Desolate on top of his deck, so you can pay 3 to draw the Desolate, and then you can play the Desolate, choosing 1, which will kill all of my characters. Because Micromajig Masters are 1/1/3s and Micromajig Tokens are 1/1/3s. But in response to that, I can sacrifice 3 Micromajigs so I can search my deck for a card. So my line of thinking was, because I didn't have anything great in my hand, was that maybe I should, just play both of these guys so I can get 4 Majigs and I can get 1 search out of it. However, looking back on it, maybe if I had waited a turn, if I had waited until next turn, when I develop again, so I'd have 7 resources, I could have played them both still for 6. I would have had 1 open. I could have sacrificed 3 of those Micromajigs to find a Blazing Zero, which would terminate his tactic and flip it face down. So then I would still have those other 3 characters out. But the other problem too is that in my hand I didn't have anything else in my hand that would generate Micromajigs. So I didn't really have any other way to rebuild them up, but they could have sat there for blockers at least. And then the other part of this is that even if I did play these this turn, when I'm searching my deck, because again, the cards in my hand are not that great, although I do have 2 cards in my hand that require 2 Rage Threshold. I have a Deadly Striker and a Noble Sacrifice. I may not have the Deadly Striker yet, I might draw into that. But anyway, so I get these two cards that require 2 Rage Threshold. And so I think, when I was flipping through it, I was thinking, should I take a Rage, for the search, just so I can play these cards. Instead, I pull out a Stuttershy, because one of the other cards in my hand is the Defalcating Machine, which the combo is a Defalcating Machine and 2 Stuttershys. So I pull out one of the Stuttershys, and then I also think I could play the Stuttershy and it can block those 2 characters. So I search and I get the Stuttershy, and I think, like I said, that was the biggest misplay of the turn. I think me taking a Rage might have been better, but if I did take another Rage, like, yes, I have the Noble Sacrifice in my hand, but I wouldn't have a character to use it. Like I said, I don't think I have the Deadly Striker yet. I think I draw the Deadly Striker in a couple of turns. So I wouldn't have anything to use the Noble Sacrifice with. So that was a... And I figured if I get this Stuttershy and I can draw into another Stuttershy, then I have the combo and I can stabilize and I'll be fine. So yeah, so on my so he attacked me on his turn, with this Ancient Scent for 2, and then the Double Fang for 7. So I took 9. I go to 13. I play my Stuttershy. That's really all I got, and then I pass my turn. The thinking is that I'll be able to block both characters, because with Stuttershy, once it's destroyed, it flips face down as a resource. Your opponent gains an influence, and then you can create a Micromajig creature and influence gain that way. So the thought is that it can block both characters. Alright, so he plays Forget on my Stuttershy, though, which returns into my hand. Then in my hand you can see that I have a Noble Sacrifice, the Stuttershy he just put in there, the Defalcating Machine, and an All-Nighter, and I don't remember what that other card was. He has to see the hand again because he wanted to look at the All-Nighter because he wasn't sure what the card did. And his hand's blocking the picture, so I can't see for sure what that other card is. I don't know what that is. It might have been like a Siege Machine, because I knew I drew some of those early, and those just became face down resources. I think I actually drew 2. It was like really ugly. So he attacks me. Now that I have no blockers, he attacks me again. Total of 9, so I go to 4. So it's really ugly. And I just pay 3 draw, pay 3 draw. I'm just digging for answers. It's like I need to find something. So I'll play another resource again. You just keep developing it just so I can pay 3, draw cards, and do things. So yeah, so I'll pay 3 and draw, hoping for something. Like I said, if I could just get another Stuttershy, I would have been fine. So I'll play my one Stuttershy again, as I mentioned, just to block. And then I'll play the All-Nighter. All-Nighter is, it costs 4, but you get to restore 9 resources. So you essentially net 5 more resources. Which, so immediately I do that just so I can draw another card, and then hopefully, draw something to play. Like, that's pretty much the only reason I played it right there. If I'd drawn another Stuttershy, it would have been great. Sadly, I did not. So I end my turn. Now, I start looking through my discard pile because I might have. I don't remember if I drew an early Dark Awakening or not. I'm trying to remember, but I don't think there's anything in my hand that was going to help at the time, or anything I could play. I don't recall. I don't even remember if I had a Dark Awakening. So this is another play mistake of the game, which I didn't even realize until I was just now watching it, and commentating on it. Is that when he attacks me with his Anxious Imp, I actually block it with a Stuttershy, but he does have 6 Obsession in play, so that makes it covert, and I wouldn't be able to block here. So I should take 2, but instead, I block, neither one of us caught it. Stuttershy is destroyed. He gains life, goes back to 25. I make a Micro Magic token now. Micro Magic token can block the Devil Fang, so that I don't take the 7 from that. So I survive another turn. But now he plays himself a Wrinkly Rabbit, which is a 6/6 covert. Because Wrinkly Rabbit, its strength in life is equal to the amount of obsession you control. So that's, as I mentioned, that was one of the other combos with the Anxious Imp, is that you swing in with a Wrinkly Rabbit and then you just pay 2, so the Imp provides 3 more, and your Wrinkly Rabbit gets a +3/+3 bonus. And then you can pay 2 again, and your Rabbit gets another +3/+3 bonus. So you can make your Rabbit pretty large and pretty deadly, unless they have an answer. So my turn is spent basically, just kind of flipping through your hand, looking like none of these cards are good. I wish I had a better card, and they never get to be better cards, sadly. So I pay 3 to draw, and then I go to the desperation of, what do I have face down? Please be something good I forgot about. And sadly, it is not. I saw there was a Neurosis there, which I put face down earlier because I was like, I didn't need that much special, and I didn't want to take that damage since he was so aggro. Which is that's one of the very valid strategies, is that once you hit your max thresholds that you need for your deck, a lot of times it's a good idea to put even resources, especially the dual resources, face down instead of face up. For one, it can kind of throw your opponent off like a mind game of like, what do they potentially have face down? What do they have with flip up that could, And then the other thing too is that if it's a dual resource, a dual threshold resource, you don't lose the influence from it, and so there's no point in losing that influence if you don't need to. So he pays 2 to pump up the Ancient Imp just to make his Rabbit larger, which he didn't need to. He attacks me for 2, and I go to 2 life, and he attacks me with the Devil Fang for 7, and I still have no answers. So sadly, I die. I kind of just think about it, and then I'll point out and be like, can I just not take damage? And I think he tells me no, which I guess is valid. So sadly, that is the end of this game. As I mentioned, it's a 6-part series, so I should have the second round up hopefully tomorrow night. So look forward to that.